welcome to Live Betting 101. What's good, DTL Universe? This is DTL Primetime Live. We are simulcast every single primetime night on our YouTube channel, but also our brand new partners at Stadium. Wherever you find Stadium, we are there. Amazon Prime Video, YouTube Video or TV, Roku TV, WatchStadium.com, and the Watch Stadium app. We are everywhere. Now, tonight, the last game of week number 1. It is a big one, and some big news just came down a couple of minutes ago, so let's not waste any more time. I need to bring all the guys in because this is as big a development as you're ever going to see. AB, I got to come to you. Just a couple of minutes ago, CMC, Christian McCaffrey, the all-everything back for the San Francisco 49ers. He has just been ruled out for the game. Start us off.
Arguably the best player in the league. And even on a team like the 49ers where they have weapons everywhere, it starts and ends with Christian McCaffrey. So the fact that he is out changes the entire dynamic of what the 49ers want to do. Yes, they'll still look the same. It's all about physicality. But if you took Brock Purdy over 31 and a half pass attempts this morning on the show, well done, because he's going to be throwing all night. And he's going to use tight ends and wide receivers to do it, obviously, but we'll talk more about that. This is massive news, though.
You're damn right. By the way, when you guys come in, still hit that like button for it and get that chat popping. Raphael, let me come over to you. You're our numbers guy. How are things changing in that world with this massive news?
It's complete chaos back there in the sportsbooks right now. They're probably taking down every Brock Purdy passing yards and probably trying to readjust or just keep it down just because you only have, an hour and a half. It's complete chaos. Now, if you have CMC in any of your parlays, two teamers, 3 teamers, 4 teamers, that just goes down. If you have a 3-teamer, now you just have a 2-teamer on there. So don't go up there and ask for a refund right now. You still have action. Whatever you have on a CMC parlay, it just gets bumped down. If you have a 3-teamer, it goes down to a 2-teamer. So if you have all those parlays, some books may not refund them until after the game. So don't be calling right now and say, hey, where's my refund for my CMC? This is complete chaos for back there. So you will get your refund. It's just when will you get it be probably the main answer.
As soon as he is a DMP, then you will get, but not until after the game, especially when the game starts in an hour and 20 minutes. DG, let me come over to you because we've talked on the show about all the different weapons that San Francisco has. They just got Brandon Ayuk signed last week, but it all kind of only works because of CMC. How do you see this affecting the 49ers offense?
I think it affects it a lot, but you also got to look at, the young running back they have in Mason. I do believe that he's going to be relied on a lot, but you got to look at George Kittle at this point. Is George Kittle going to be a safety blanket for Purdy? But then if you look at the other examples, like Debo can run out of the backfield. So maybe they just look at their offense and change it up a little bit. There has to be some kind of a way that the offensive coordinator is looking at this as we might not have CMC at some point. So they already have a bunch of set plays. They're just going to have to rely on that much more than they really wanted to.
Man from the dirty, Charles, bringing you in for the first time tonight. It seems like going this late and announcing that this late that he really tried to go, that they did everything they could possibly do since it's the opening game. But ultimately they said, you know what? We just can't risk our MVP candidate tonight. Does it feel like that to you?
I'm wondering, did he make the call or did they make the call? He's up for a contract as well. So I'm wondering if it was 50-50 or what. And I was surprised to see he was a running back, got a 1.5, and that total went down as much as well. So, yeah, that lets you know how important he is. So I was wondering, seeing how much it went on each end, who made that call? Was it on his camp or their camp, or was it a mutual agreement?
Raphael, go.
Today they talked about it was more not calf, more Achilles pain that he was having, not calf. So anytime you deal with Achilles, that's probably I can guarantee you the doctors probably said, hey, we ain't getting a go. And now Vegas just moved it to 3. So if there's a 3 in Vegas, just what we saw last night, it may be coming back again. As we saw last night, Vegas had a half a point different, and then everyone else fouled. Keep an eye out for this one.
AB, how much is this now? Because there's such a huge difference. You've taught us the last couple of years that 3, 7, 10, the all-important numbers. Well, now it's come down to that important number of 3. Does it change anything you're thinking about?
Well, let me say this, all right? The difference between 3 and 3.5, all right, is almost 15% of a probability statistical difference. Let me break this down. You're going to McDonald's A or McDonald's B. One of them, you have a 15% higher chance of getting food poisoning. Think about that. All right, sorry, McDonald's, didn't mean to put you in that spot. But that's how big of a difference 3 and 3.5 is. So find the numbers that you want if you're taking the 49ers or the opposite side, 3.5 with the Jets. But this changes so much, man, because it changes the offense. Are they going to go with Kyle Juszczyk? Because his number is going to be super low. Jordan Mason, third-year running back, is McCaffrey's backup out of Georgia Tech. I mean, these names go way down when you take McCaffrey out of this ballgame.
Wait till you see the gem numbers later in the show. They just plummeted on the San Francisco side. And DG, as AB just said, it now, if you're Kyle Shanahan, he loves to use everybody. Let's be honest. He went into today. They've been working on this game plan for a month. They didn't have just a week. So now if you're Kyle Shanahan, what do you think he's going to change?
I think you're going to look at a lot of the route tree a little bit more because, you know, you don't want to put Brock Purdy in a bad spot. So you're going to look at the route tree, and maybe it's unless less goes. So taking the top off the defense, you're going to have that, but you're going to have a little bit less of that and maybe playing a little bit underneath. And that's why I talked about, and everybody else talked about Kyle Juszczyk, who has been amazing, but also George Kittle. You might see some running Juszczyk out a little bit more, but also running Kittle underneath. You got to make sure you set up Purdy for success here.
Yeah, his number over 3.5 at certain books is already juiced. I wonder if maybe Kittle will go to 4 or even 4.5. Quick question before we get to our picks from the chat for Raphael. So what do the books do if they were late in making the changes to Jordan Mason's rushing yards line?
Hey, if you got the number that you got this morning, that's your number. Doesn't matter if anything happens. Congratulations, because I have a nice ticket on Jordan Mason too, so I'm patting myself on the back. They can't do anything with numbers. We see this in boxing and UFC all the time. Welcome to the MMA boxing world, football bettors. If you have a great number, it's just because of an injury.
If only there was I don't know, guys, a morning show on Stadium and YouTube that kind of gave people an early part of the day education and entertain. I don't know. AB, do you know any show like that perhaps maybe we could tap into?
There's one called Driving the Line. I like to watch it, subscribe to it. It's a whole lot of fun.
It really, really is. Every single day right here, weekdays on Stadium at 10 a.m. Eastern time. All you OGs, if you know, you know. All right, we got some straight picks. We always have props later in the show, but right now it's time after the breaking news to get to said picks. Producer man. All right, I can't wait to see what my man Raphael is going to do with this. When he gave this in, it was San Francisco minus the 4. It's now at DraftKings come down to 3.5. And you're saying in Vegas, a lot of places, it's down to 3 against the Aaron Rodgers-led New York Jets. Raphael, start us off. What do you got?
Yeah, this one's rough because CMC not being out. I'm still going to play this just because CMC has not been practicing. He's been out for a while in practice. So I'm sure they've had other options and other ways to put in a game plan just in case of this scenario. So I still think the 49ers have tons of weapons, even though CMC is a big weapon. They still got Mason. They still have tight ends. They still got wide receivers. So the cows come home. I still think the 49ers are the key here because of the defense. I think Bosa has a big game. So now I'm getting a better number, even though CMC, I can't remember a running back being 1 point on a Monday night game at home. This is like Walter Payton / era when I remember when he was out, bookies used to tell me he would move 2-3 points. It was very rare to see a running back worth -1, even 1.5 being on a Monday night game. This is very rare to see.
So your number is better. So AB, let me come to you because I love that we had it under 24, and I would assume it's either there or less in some books. Talk to me.
Still sitting at 23.5. Now the juice has changed a little bit to around plus 100. So 3 nickels, as Raphael says, but you're still sitting 23.5. And that's exactly why we played it, because it's under that key number of 24. If you're new to betting and you don't know the key numbers, think of how points are scored in football, 3s and 7s, right? So 24 would be 3 touchdowns and a field goal. We've got it under that. If you went 24.5, that's 3 touchdowns and 2 field goals or 4 touchdowns. So we're still sitting good. The juice changed a little bit, but we're still riding. 49ers team total over 23.5. Now, I'll say this real quick. This is going to change how the Jets defensive front attacks the 49ers offense. They don't have to sit and watch the run. They are going to pin their ears back and go and drop into a nickel cover 2 back there. However, Kyle Shanahan's the best in the business at messing with you. This calls for a ton of screens and draws. Watch it. Nobody's better in the NFL at calling an offense like that than Kyle Shanahan. This is going to be fun now.
You're damn right. Remember what Coach Phil said? Coach Phil said that Kyle Shanahan is the best play caller. He thought he might have been the best head coach in the entire league. He said that many times.
Yep.
Many times.
Yep.
We'll see tonight.
And watch this real quick. Whenever they bring a rush, you throw right at it. Sorry, go ahead, Coach.
Throw right at it. Educate, entertain, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I'm talking about. Now, it should be interesting because AB loves the team total over 23.5. So, DG, for you, if we had 24-7, you'd be okay with that, right?
Right, for sure. And that's where I'm looking at is you're looking at the Jets and the 49ers. For 43.5 is not there anymore, unfortunately, but I do see a 43 still out there. The key number, as AB was talking about, it is 42. You're talking about 6 touchdowns there. That's going to get you to 42. So if you can stay 42.5, I still like that number. 43.5 and above is still good. I just love the fact that we can get still without CMC still there. I think you can still get above that. And so anything that you can get 43 or 43.5, I like. I just think both these teams are going to combine for 6 touchdowns at the most. And it might be 5 touchdowns and 2 field goals. So either way, we're still going to be at the 42 number, which is the key number. So I still like that there.
All right, above that 42.5. Now, Charles, yours got very, very interesting because you have a 6-point teaser that did change just a little bit. Plus 9.5, not that much different than 10 because in a teaser you got to win. We know that. But the under certainly changed. Talk to me on this one.
Yeah, we did ours real time, Coach. Yeah, you say 9.5 doesn't change a lot, but that 10, that 7 and 3 is key for getting that 10 as well, and then 47.5. But I already like the under in this game. These primetime games have notoriously been staying under as well. Plus, I think the Jets will keep it close. So yeah, I'm still comfortable with that spot, the plus 9.5, and now the 47.5 to go under as well. So I'm still comfortable with it. I would have loved the 10 and the 49.5, but hey, or the 49, but hey, I'll still roll with it all day.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So you see how things are changing. You see how one single player, if it's the right player, can change everything in a game. So, AB, we haven't talked through the first 3 nights. This is our 4th primetime game about live betting. Would you wait to see how the San Francisco team comes out and how the offense looks without CMC and maybe play one of these, the under, team total, play it live?
Wonderful question, Coach. And I'll tell you this, the 49ers are already one of the, quote, slowest teams in the NFL in terms of eating clock. They will go on long drives. If they do that now and stay even more conservative, if you want to play an over, wait a couple minutes because they could take 6 minutes off the clock, score 3 points, score nothing. And look, Aaron Rodgers, do you think he's going to go crazy in the first quarter of this game after last year? No, it's going to be safe. So if you want to play an over, but you want to wait a little bit, oh yeah, that number could drop very large very quickly.
We have about a minute left. Let me come to you, DG, on this one because we haven't even talked about the Jets side of things and how they approach playing against the 49ers without CMC. What does their defense change, if anything?
I don't think their defense changes much. They're still going to have to watch the run. They're still going to look at the under, but also taking off the top, whether it's Brandon Ayuk or whoever might be going, running just a go route. But I think on the offensive end, you look at them, they're willing to take some more chances because they know that their best player in CMC is out of the game. I think you see that maybe the Jets get very aggressive, especially early on. Maybe they take some chances with Rodgers, throwing it up to Mike Williams down the sideline, see if you can get a 25-yard catch and run there with him. I think they get more aggressive on the offensive end.
Oh, I love that analysis. By the way, I got a little confused or a little distracted because I got my big old TV here to my left, and who do I have on? Glorious Five Faces on Amazon Prime Video. If you know, you know. Thank you to Stadium. We're just getting started. Coming up next, we've got a deep quarterback comparison, Purdy and Aaron Rodgers. And also, you guys know what time it is. It's time for the No-Fly Zone. We do it next. We are live, DTL Primetime Live on Stadium and YouTube. AB, take it away.
Let's take a look at some parlays here. Now we're going to start with the Jets, all right? Have a little fun because the 49ers got a little bit of a change. So, courtesy of DraftKings here, and new customers bet $5, get $250 instantly in bonus bets and 1 month of NFL Plus Premium using promo code Combine. Now, Jets +4, Breece Hall anytime TD. These numbers on the +4 are going to change a little bit, but your parlay numbers will stay the same. All right, so Jets spread, Breece Hall anytime TD, Aaron Rodgers 175 plus passing yards, 285. Jets spread, Garrett Wilson anytime TD, Aaron Rodgers 200 plus passing yards, 385. Jets money line, Breece Hall anytime TD, Aaron Rodgers 200 plus passing yards, plus 465. Raphael, what are you looking at, man? What do you like?
Just like Otani's going to do today, I'm going big. Give me that plus 465. Give me the Jets money line with the news that we heard today. I love the Bryce Hart, and I think Aaron Rodgers is going to have a big day in the air if he can stay playing the whole game. But I'm swinging for the fences just like Otani is going to be against the Cubs. So I'm going to take the plus 465.
That's why I wore this Dodger blue hat. Chuck, big Chuck. What are you feeling?
Give me that Jets +4. I'm not a greedy man. Plus 285 looks good to me. Plus, we only need Aaron Rodgers to throw for 175 as well. Breece Hall to do his thing. So, yeah, give me that. Give me A on this one. Plus 285 sounds good to me.
Going with A. And those some nice. Are those birds on the shirt? That's a great looking shirt, brother. I like
You like that, huh?
I do. It looks good, bud. Looks real good. DG, what are you going with?
I'm going to back Charles on this one. I like the +1 for the Jets, but the difference of them is obviously going to be either you like Breece Hall, you like Garrett Wilson. I like Breece Hall in this game. I think he can get a touchdown here. Garrett Wilson, possibly. Their secondary is still going to be good, but I think they're going to be able to rely on Breece Hall here. So at that point, and you get less yardage for Rodgers. Yeah, give me that easy one. Plus 285.
Yeah, I think, bringing the numbers down on the pass is going to be key for a lot of these. Look, I like number 2. All right, Jet spread, Garrett Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, 200 plus 385. I'll take it, but I like all of them. They're solid.
All right, I like that a lot. Use that promo code Combine, and DK is going to take care of it. At some point, they'll take care of all of us. All right, we're back on Stadium in 5 seconds. Welcome back to DTL. I always say Driving the Line, Primetime Live. We are live on Stadium, also on YouTube. Thank you to all of you for making our first week here absolutely phenomenal. Now, this is the part of the program where we take a look at the quarterback matchup. And when you're talking about sexy, when you're talking about big names, you're talking about an MVP, then you talk about the next generation. That's what we have tonight. Here are the numbers. Now, if you notice, AB, you had to put up 2022 numbers because last year, Aaron Rodgers, he also had a primetime opener, and he lasted all of 4 plays before Big Boy went down with an Achilles injury, which I believe is the hardest one to come back from. As you compare these two tonight for different reasons, I think there's a lot of pressure. Who has more in your mind?
Aaron Rodgers has the pressure. Now, look, you're correct. 2022 for Rodgers, 2023 for Brock Purdy. But take a look at those individual lines on the numbers. The yellow is the leader, and Brock Purdy has all of them from last year compared to Rodgers 2022. Comp, yards, passing touchdowns, fewer interceptions, rushing yards, and rushing TDs. Brock Purdy can throw. This offense is not just running the football. So that's the big thing to notice is that Brock Purdy will throw. And tonight, he's going to have to do it even more.
I think that's such a misconception that AB just pointed out, Raphael, that Brock Purdy is a system quarterback. And I don't believe that he is. I just think he plays within their system very, very well. But when you look at the numbers, the proof is in the pudding.
I agree. Aaron Rodgers is probably very nervous because we saw what happened to him his last time he played 4 snaps and he's out. But Brock Purdy is going to throw the ball, especially with the big news. I'm a little bit shocked. They reposted passing yards. It's still 238 for passing yards today. I thought it would have at least bumped it up to maybe 10 yards. Now, books are slowly putting up all the quarterback prop bets right now, so we still have an hour. So if you're waiting to bet those attempts, Brock Purdy was 31.5. I can guarantee you it's probably around 34, 35.5, but they'll probably post that up. So just keep an eye out. They'll post that. But I think Brock Purdy has a big game, even though no CMC, but he's got so many other weapons. And I still think this game's going to go over. DraftKings just moved this total to 43. So the betting public is calmed down, saying, hey, you know what? Yeah, CMC's not out, but they probably looked at the roster. Kittle's still there. Debo's still there. there's still weapons in there. I still think we see points scored.
John says Cousin looks terrible off the Achilles. And DG, Aaron Rodgers, you got to believe somewhere deep down, we haven't seen a lot of practice video from him, but when you come back to game action and you know somebody's actually going to hit you, that changes everything. So not to play for 2 full years, what do you think's going on in his mind right about now?
There's probably some Zen music. He's probably finding himself in another country right now, just feeling good. Listen, I don't know what's going through his head. If I knew that, I promise you I'd probably be a rich man, because it's hard to figure him out. But I have to say that he's going to probably want to get off early. And usually you would think, hey, let's go ahead and check down, get in the flow of things. I think he's a guy that wants to be just, bravado enough, just wants to go for it. And so I think he throws it up a little bit and tries to go after it, like I said earlier, and get a little bit more aggressive. But coming off of that, man, it's going to be tough for him to get going and feel confident in himself so far.
John says, please don't compare Kirk Cousins to Aaron Rodgers. And I think, Charles, that's a problem a lot of people have. We think that this 41-year-old version is him from 10 years ago. It's not. And at some point, we've got to recognize that. What do you realistically expect from Aaron Rodgers tonight?
Good question. I think we're still it's still up in the air as well. You come out last season, we got that, the one play as well. So it's still undetermined to see what he's going to produce as well. I know I'm excited to see it as well. I still think he has a little bit left in the tank as well. A lot to prove. 17th year, has the Super Bowl coming off the Achilles as well, and still willing to go out there and chase a title. So I'm excited to see what he has to offer with this Jets team.
Listen to Mr. Optimistic AB over there. What do you got, big boy?
So one thing to pay attention to, if you're playing totals, you're playing points, all right? When the 49ers, if they decrease their rushing attempts total overall in the game, right, and you go more to a passing offense that affects the clock, that will be a slower moving clock and allow more time for either that offense or the Jets offense to score. And over the course of a game of 4 quarters, as many times as Christian McCaffrey runs the football, that adds up to a big difference. You got a lot more time to score here on both sides.
Couple of things from the chat. First of all, John, don't get hot at me. I'm just going to point out, don't get hot. We're boys. We're boys. Secondly, how about this stat from Adam 255555555? He says, here's a stat since 2000. The Super Bowl loser and Big Cheesy, that was your 49ers, 5-19 against the spread in week number 1. So, DG, thoughts about that?
Listen, I'm just here so I don't get fined. That's it.
I like any username that has 100 fives in it. I'm with it.
Right. Raphael, those numbers do not, I'm assuming they're correct. We always trust the chat. But it's always hard to come back and be motivated when you played all the way into February. A lot of these teams were done a month earlier than the 49ers and the Chiefs.
Yeah, I saw a similar stat. I don't know if the numbers were correct this morning, and I wanted to do a little research on that, but I just lost track of time. But don't forget, recovery time. They're still thinking about what happened with that Super Bowl loss, and you're at home. Most of these Super Bowl teams, they get their first game at home so they can, kind of praise them out there. So that's an interesting stat. And with the big news of CMC and all that, maybe that stat will change a little bit. Maybe we'll get that 6 next instead of that 5, but I still like the 49ers.
A lot of you that I'm watching right now, a lot of you that I'm thinking right now. And you know what? We can compare these quarterbacks all we want. I can stare at, they're a little bit behind on Stadium. I can stare at AB's beautiful face on my big screen TV right to my left because it is glorious. But what I would prefer to do is find out if tonight one of these two, yes, we'll call them star quarterbacks. You go to the Super Bowl, you're a star quarterback. But what will happen when they enter into the one and the only no-fly zone? AB.
The no-fly zone, let's get it started. If you're brand new to this, we're going to break down each quarterback as opposed to the opposition's secondary rankings and see who's throwing an interception. So, first off on the left, you see the 49ers secondary rankings from 2023. ranked first, short left, 16th, short mid, third, short right. You can read the rest, 19, 17, 20 in the deeps. Now, take a look at Aaron Rodgers, okay? This is what he looks like in 2022. Aaron Rodgers can make every pass in the NFL. We know that, right? He's not one of these guys that can't throw over the middle. He can do whatever kind of that he wants. That being said, there are spots to watch out for. Watch how this offense, you see these pass attempts, how it fades right. You see that? Yes, because he's throwing with his body, right-handed. Throwing against his body to the left, trouble. Look at the 49ers, ranked first, short left. That could be trouble. Flip the page and let's take a look at Aaron Rodgers. You see the danger zone right there. If you try to throw a quick hitch or an out 3 to 5 yards to the left side and they jump it, Haas, it's going to the crib in Santa Clara. Be careful. Aaron Rodgers is throwing an interception tonight if he tries to throw deep mid or deep left. We talked about across your body. That's tough on an out pattern. Imagine throwing it 30 yards across your body deep. Not going to happen. Also short right. Be careful. 71.9 is his average. Not good. Aaron Rodgers is throwing a pick and in these spots. Now, let's flip over to Brock Purdy. Take a look at Brock Purdy. This is the Brock Purdy offense right here. You see that? He actually goes the opposite way. Brock Purdy throws to his left. He likes it. It'll shade a little bit right, and he doesn't take a ton of deep shots. That's because Kyle Shanahan is aggressive, but still safe. Take a look at where those completions, the green dots, all right? That is 5 yards and in. That's where Brock Purdy likes to stay. When he gets after that, past the 10 mark, 15-yard mark, he gets into trouble. So watch the 10-yard line and in of where these passes go. A lot of screens and dumps because he's got tight ends and dudes galore. Look at the Jets secondary rankings. Not great. They're better than those numbers show, but it's not great. Flip that thing over. Let's take a look at Brock Purdy. He's got trouble everywhere here. If he tries to go deep right, look at that 39.6. Intermediate right, 41.7. Deep middle, 55.4. There is trouble all over the place. And the same thing. Look at 78.5 on the left-hand side. That's behind the line of scrimmage because he throws a lot there and he gets in a spot where he feels comfortable doing it. But all it takes, look at those quick tip the hands. D-line get their hands up, tip one, ball, Oski to the crib. It could happen as well. So Brock Purdy also is throwing an interception tonight. And that's why we played both of these quarterbacks over 1.5 total. You could do it that way. You can play in 1-1. Always are good. Interceptions are coming tonight.
Kevin Sayers, there's those hands. I pop for the hands. I don't know why, but I pop for the hands. I just do. Quick question, B. Mills. Does Hufanga being out at safety affect the Aaron Rodgers pick prediction AB at all?
A little bit. Not too terribly much, though. Aaron Rodgers, he gets cocky. Kind of the same thing we just talked about with Brock Purdy. Once he gets in a rhythm and a flow, he'll start going. And Aaron Rodgers doesn't throw to tight ends. So he's either throwing it deep or he's throwing slants to wide receivers. So, no, it doesn't. That's a good question. And I also saw what's Oski. All right, Oski is, all right, when you are playing defense at any level, okay, the ball gets tipped, everybody on defense yells, ball, all right? When it's picked, you yell, Oski, because what that does is you have defensive linemen that might not be looking at that or other defenders that know that it's intercepted. So when they hear ball and they hear Oski, that means everyone that's on defense has now become an offensive player, and you get to block now, and you get to smash offensive linemen that aren't paying attention, and the quarterback has to run to the side of the field because guess what? You're on defense now, Haas, and they get to hit you. So that's why Ball and Oski are so important.
And normally it's the team on the sideline screaming Oski because guys on the field either have the mouthpiece, but everybody on the team that intercepts yells it. I had a lot when I was playing. Did your church league football team, DG, have a lot of – oh, wait, you guys didn't even wear pads. My bad. We'll get into that later. the no-fly zone has never been duplicated or replicated. Still to come here on the show, we got to get into our prop market. And as you know, at the top of the show, CMC is not playing. How does that affect my guys and what they are picking later tonight? Also, we're looking at key matchups. And then, who's going to be in the club tonight at the gym? Will we have a winner? We'll find out. You're watching DTL Primetime Live on Stadium. AB, you got it, big boy.
All right. Now, 49ers parlays. We're going to have to do a little live in-game, pre-game messing around with them. But take a look. Okay, so this is what we had coming into the show. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey is going to be out. So adjust how you would like, but you're going to get the 49ers -3, 3.5, as opposed to 4. So 49ers money line, Christian McCaffrey anytime TD, and Brock Purdy 200+ passing yards was +185. All right, when you switch out McCaffrey, you're probably going to move that number to around 200, 215. All right, 49ers spread, no McCaffrey, Brock Purdy throwing 200+ passing yards, you're likely going to move that from +255, depending on who you take for anytime TD, to around +275. And then 49ers spread, no McCaffrey, but Purdy throwing for 250+ passing yards, you're looking at about +500. So obviously we have to do a little adjustment live. Raphael, all things considered, what do you feel?
We're going to do the first one. I'm not going to be greedy on this one. I'm going to take the 49ers money line. It's probably anywhere between -175, -180. Would not take anything higher than -180. And then the passing yards for Purdy. I just think it's a good 2-teamer. Now, you don't get, if you have CMC and any other parlays, 3, 4, 5-teamers, it just pushes it back. If it's a 4-teamer, now you have a 3-teamer. But I'm going to go with the first one. I'm going to be not greedy on my play.
All right, not a greedy man. Big Chuck, what do you feel?
Make that too, +185. This is a middle spot as well, since I got the Jets in the +4. Yeah, get that 49ers in the main line as well, the +185. Purdy 200 yards as well, just for them to win. Yeah, I'll take that. That's almost +500 when you put them all together. So all day for me.
That it is. Half a yardstick, baby. All right, DJ, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm going to change it up a little bit. I'm going to stay in the same area, which was Brock Purdy 200+ yards, but also 49ers win. But I'm going to add in a Deebo Samuel touchdown. That's going to bring it to a +260. That's over on DraftKings. You can get this probably anywhere. But I like that just because I trust Deebo in here, because he could get the handoff and kind of act as a CMC replacement instead of going with Mason. So I like Deebo there.
Yep. All right. I like it, guys. I like pivoting. All right, we are coming back live on Stadium in 5 seconds. All right, welcome back to the show here live on Stadium and on YouTube with the best crew in the business. I'm your boy, the coach. We got AB, we've got Big Chuck, we got DG, and our numbers guy, Raphael. Now, before we get to our prop plays for tonight, because you still got another 40 minutes to get them in, we want to look at some key matchups. Now, we made this, AB, before we knew. But we're going to start with the wide receivers. Garrett Wilson, Deebo, 2 studs. Let's go.
Look at the receiving yards first off between Garrett Wilson and Deebo Samuel. And you're right. We made this right before the show, so you might see a little adjustment of Deebo. But 69.5 for Garrett, 51.5 there. Receptions, 5.5, 4.5. You could read it. Longest reception, et cetera, et cetera. The biggest thing to notice is the difference that you're going to see in the touchdown market for San Francisco, because Christian McCaffrey is always the massive favorite. Now that he's out, someone else is going to have to do it. You're going to see some numbers move there. That's the one to pay attention to, because there will be craziness.
Let's go around a little bit, and let's go to you, Raphael, because Garrett Wilson has never had what he has tonight. And if you're the sports books, how do you even know what number to put on him when he's got such a dynamic quarterback now to find him?
Yeah, I can see Rodgers just dinking and dunking, like what we've seen a lot of quarterbacks do in week 1. So I'd be very cautious with that number. Deebo's rushing number, I'm going to put this out right now, it's 21.5. It opened up at 9.5. So a big adjustment on that one. But Wilson's going to be very interesting, because I don't see Rodgers being that gutsy, dinging the ball around there. I think he's going to be dinging and dunking as tight ends. I think Breece Hall, screen game is going to be big for the Jets. So I would say maybe fade the wide receivers for the Jets.
All right, Big Chuck, let me come over to you. Do you agree with fading Garrett Wilson in the first game of his renewed career?
Absolutely. Actually, I see the numbers went down to 68.5 as well. So it's kind of creeped down. So yeah, I think they're going to focus on Garrett Wilson. I also agree. Brees Hall, I think he has a big game in that spot. I see he's actually went up to 29.5. I think I gave him out 27.5 on the show.
Big Chuck. We'll get to Brees Hall, big boy.
On the show, I gave him out.
Cook. You got to let me cook here. We've got a whole graphic for him.
Oh.
And I'll let you talk about Brees Hall.
Oh, even better. My apologies, Coach.
It's okay. That's why we work so hard during the day. I'll get back to you, Big Chuck. DG, let me come over to you. Debo, if you watch receivers, he's not really that big of an ego guy. He just wants what he wants. But sometimes he has great games, and other times he kind of doesn't get thrown to. What do you think tonight is now?
Listen, if there's anything I'm targeting is that 4.5 receptions for Debo there. I'll make it an official play, whether or not we can put on the show. But I will say that I think he goes over the 4.5 receptions. And the reason is it's not going to be because he's running out as a wide receiver. I think he's going to be the guy in the play action passes that might get out of the backfield and catch a lot of those dumps. And so I think you see Debo catching 6, maybe 7 passes tonight. I think he's going to be more the replacement than Mason is. And so his hands are going to be on the ball a lot.
I like that a lot. AB, let me come back over to you. Let's look at Brees Hall now because you had him matched up tonight with the other stud, Christian McCaffrey. And for those people who just came in at the bottom of the hour, if you don't know, CMC is not playing. Brees Hall, AB, is.
He is. Look, 63.5 rushing yards, 15.5 attempts, 15.5 on the longest rush. Here is the thing to notice. If the Jets take a lead in this game in the second half, he is going to run the ball as much as he wants because guess what? Aaron Rodgers, his rushing prop tonight, and who's taking it? Over 1.5 rushing yards tonight for Aaron Rodgers. Does he leave and run the pocket and get after it after that injury last year? Who in the world knows? He's cocky enough to, and I respect that part. But yeah, Brees Hall, this could change the dynamic if they play with a lead. And then if you look at Christian McCaffrey's numbers, obviously he's out, but those numbers have to come from somewhere. Somebody's going to run the football, or Brock Purdy is going to have to supplement that through the air. So that's why still knowing Christian McCaffrey's numbers are important.
And I'm getting scolded in the chat, everybody. Let Charles cook, Coach. Oh, gotta love Charles from B Mills. Charles gets excited for prime time. I get it. I get excited when we have him for prime time. Charles, the floor is yours. Everything Brees Hall, sir.
And especially on the receiving end, I gave out 26.5 this morning. It just went to 29.5. And then also on that Brock Purdy on the rushing, it's 6.5. I think Purdy could actually get it 7 yards running for his life tonight as well. But yeah, I'm all over Brees Hall. I like him rushing, receiving. I think he has a big night as well. You know, Rodgers loves his running backs as well. So yeah, I'm keyed in everywhere I can on Brees Hall.
That's why you put him in when Charles tells you 7 hours ago or 8 hours ago, especially on a guy that can only go up. It will not go down. Good call by you. Now we come over to you, DG. Brees Hall, and I probably did call him Bryce Hall. Brees Hall, he is dynamic, but he's never had a quarterback to take the pressure off of him. He might feel like he has the whole field to work with tonight.
Yeah, he might. And honestly, I'd look at the attempts there for Brees Hall or Bryce Hall. It might be Debo Sanders tonight as well. But I like his attempts because I do think that they tried to the time of possession game because I don't know if the 49ers can be as reliant on the time of possession. So that could work into the favor of the Jets and where they can actually hand the ball a little bit more to Brees Hall and go over that 15.5 line.
Mark says in the chat, I hope Charles starts talking about George Kittle just to put Coach on tilt. It would have put me on tilt, Mark. You guys know me all too well. All right, producer man, you know what time it is? It's time to prop it up and see what my guys have in store tonight here for Play that bass. Play that bass. All right, AB, let's start with you, big boy. You got 3 we need to sink our teeth into. Let's go.
Let's go with it. All right. So we spoke about interceptions. Aaron Rodgers, Brock Purdy, over 1.5 INTs at plus 135. You could get this at BetMGM and other books where it is combined. Now, take this bet. That means Aaron Rodgers could throw 2, Brock Purdy throws 0. You still hit. Purdy throws 2, Rodgers throws 0, you still hit. Doesn't matter. We just need 2 or more out of either of these quarterbacks. But again, if you want to play them singularly, I like that. They're both going to throw a pick tonight. Jawan Jennings Jr., we took him over 18.5 receiving yards, and I love it now because he can do it all. Just turn the lights on, and guess what? He'll turn them off when the game's over and let you know about it. Love that one. And then Brock Purdy over 31.5 pass attempts. That number's going to go up. I'd play it all the way up to 34.5, maybe even 35.5, depending on what the juice is.
All right, very good. Those are 3. And I'm going to come over to you, Raphael, because you like half of AB's interception prop. Let's start right there.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers over a half interceptions. His last game was January 8th, 2022. You know what? Against the Lions, he threw a pick. So why won't we see it again? He's going to throw a pick in this one. So I like that one. I think Aaron Rodgers gets gutsy and throws a pick. And then the other one, Bryce Hall over 15.5 rushing attempts. Easily going to go over 15.5. His last game, he had 37 rushing attempts against New England. What did New England do yesterday? They won. Wow, what a shock. But I just texted one of my sportsbook directors over in Vegas, and I asked about the player props. What are limits right now of CMC? All their limits are cut in half. So if your book only gives you 1,000, it's 500. I can guarantee you every running back prop bet is probably cut to maybe 250. So that's the reason why they don't want to give away all their money, because they had a big weekend. They don't want to give all that free money they won over the weekend.
Very, very interesting. And by the way, we found the culprit on who on the show is calling him Bryce Hall. Raphael.
Oh, did I say Bryce Hall?
Oh, yes, you did. Yes, you did. I was wondering. I was like,
I'm bad at names.
I haven't made a mistake since this morning. All right, DG, I'm coming over to you. CJ Mosley, a defensive prop. I'm here for it. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm going to go with CJ Mosley over the 2.5 assists at -120. I would assume it went up earlier this show, but I think it might have fell back down at this point. But he's had 3+ in 14 of the 17 games last season. If you're a math wizard like me, it's 82%. San Francisco ranks in the top half of tackles allowed, but they are the 6th in assists allowed to last season. That's at 24.9. That's a total of 41% of the tackles that they allow come in assists. That's why I like that number. We're going to go with Mike Williams. I know he's had an ACL injury and he's coming off of that, but you're talking about going vertical, going one direction, and that is going to be up the sideline, looking for a 16 or more on the longest reception. And that's why I had to go there, because dating back to 2021, he's covered this line in 75% of his games. He's a guy that wants to take the top off the defense. I'm going to go Mike Williams over 15.5, longest reception at -110.
And by the way, DG, I'm wondering if you have a brother in the chat, because they said if Soupy was on the show tonight, he'd be calling him Adam Rogers. So on brand. Soupy catching strays, not even on the show tonight. All right, Charles, coming over to you. You're the other half of Raphael, because you like Brock. He likes Aaron Rodgers. AB likes them together. Talk to me.
Yeah, Purdy, he threw 11 interceptions in 2023, and he tended to struggle against defenses who could get pressure without having to send extra men, and had decent and good defensive backs. Teams like the Ravens, the Bengals, the Browns, Vikings, Seahawks especially gave him fits as well. So I definitely think he's going to serve one up, one of those primetime picks tonight. And then lastly, George Kittle over 45.5 receiving yards. Kittle, he averaged 60 yards per game last season and about 15.7 per catch as well. And I'm definitely thinking he's going to be a safety blanket to at least get 4 or 5 catches. So, yeah, go ahead and sign me up for Kittle to get at least 46 yards.
He's going right down, and he's going to sit right down, 8-9 yards, boom, boom, boom. Let's take 7 catches, be all good. AB, the chat brings up something very, very important that you love, especially at the beginning of the season, to elaborate on. If you're playing the Aaron Rodgers rushing prop, if they're ahead, what can happen?
Kneel downs count as rushing attempts, but they also count as rushing yards. So be careful on that one. You want to find out who could be leading at halftime and who could be leading at the end of the game, because that's where they come into play. There was also another question asked in the chat that was excellent. Brock Purdy, rushing attempts and rushing yards. Rushing yards is 8.5. And what Charles just said is 1,000% true. Guess what? Brock Purdy doesn't run a lot, but he'll run for his life, and he'll run right up the middle when he gets pressured. And that defensive line is pinning their ears back and coming after him. Brock Purdy will run a little bit more tonight. I guarantee it.
No, I certainly hope so. Real quick, I got 20 seconds, DG.
Yeah, I know people are asking about the kicker props. I didn't like Moody before. I like him a lot now because I think they stall out in the red zone versus the Jets. But also Greg the Leg, he could be in play too. But that it's kind of juicy on his plays.
All right, thank you very much. By the way, guys, it's embarrassing when one of our crew members is in the chat and they're begging, literally begging. So I have purposely not even paid attention to Seabass, who's all in his glory. He gets to run one of his cooking segments on the show, and all of a sudden he thinks he can play every single night. No, you cannot get into the club, Seabass, if you're not on the show. At least not yet. Still to come. Who will get into the club? Who will pop a bottle tonight? Also, we look ahead and update. We are live, DTL Primetime, live on Stadium. AB, it's all yours.
Let's take a look at some team props here. Just don't pay attention to the graphic that you see on there because he is out of this game. But it's all right. The number's still sitting good. Juice changed a little bit, but the number's there. All right. Jets TDs over 2.5 plus 150. Jets team total over 19.5 under that key number of 20 is at minus 115. 49ers TDs over 2.5, as we said. And the 49ers team total over 23.5. Juice changed a little bit, but those numbers are still the same as well. So, Raphael, I throw it to you. Feel free to answer this or how you see anything with the books and how historically they might take a look at this. Free reign, my man. What do you got?
Yeah, 49ers team total is now 23.5, minus 120, minus 125 in certain books. And I just got a text from one of the books in Reno. They're still at 4.5 for the 49ers. They don't care that CMC's not playing. They still got 4.5. That's how much 49er money is coming up in Reno, Nevada. So that's kind of interesting. But I still like the team total over 23.5 for the 49ers.
I like Reno holding strong. We're playing Keno in Reno, and they are going old school. We're doing some gambling tonight, Hoss. Let's get after it. All right, Big Chuck. What do you like here, man?
Yeah, I'm going with that Jets team total over 19.5. I definitely think they can get to 20. Greg the Leg gets a couple of field goals and a couple of touchdowns. There's our 20 as well. We're seeing like a 24-20 type game.
Okay, DG.
I'm going to mirror that Jets total team over 19.5 minus 115. Just like Charles said, I think they can get 2 touchdowns. I just don't think they can get 3. But the 2 other kicks, it's going to total us up to 20 points. So Greg the Leg cashing for us on that as well.
All right, now the CMC's out. Real quick, DG, final score prediction.
Wow, I'm going to go 24-20.
Chuck.
Same, 24-20.
Raphael.
I'm going to go $1, Coach. No, I'm going to say 27-21.
I'm going 31-20. Niners. Let's go.
How about Go See Mike says 20 out of 30 kickers kicked at least 2 field goals this week.
Yep.
Something to think about. I like that 27-21 number. I just have it in my head for some reason. But I definitely think the over will come in. All right, it's time to recap our plays and time to play the gym. We're back in 4 seconds. All right, welcome back, everybody, to DTL Primetime Live on Stadium and simulcast on our own YouTube page. Thank you to all of us, or all of you, for making tonight the live audience so fantastic. This is night number 4. Now, moving forward, we will be live before every single NFL primetime games. No more Fridays. It'll be Mondays, Thursdays, Sundays, and then we are live every weekday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. We got you covered top to bottom, left to right. Now, before we get into the most fun portion of the program, we like to call it the gym. Who's going to get into the club on a Monday night? Now, in my WWE days, it didn't matter the night. We brought the party. But a lot of you weren't here at the top of the show. And CMC, Christian McCaffrey, the all-everything back for the San Francisco 49ers, he will be out tonight. That has changed so much. Numbers, props, spreads a little bit, teasers a little bit. So I'd love to go back, AB, and start with you on our straight plays tonight. We've already done our props, but let's do our straight plays tonight and kind of tell me your thought process now that we've had about an hour to deal with no CMC.
49ers team total over 23.5. Still sticking with it. I feel good with it. This 49ers team is actually going to have a little bit more aggression and speed in their cadences going down the field. And Kyle Shanahan, I'm telling you, has no concerns at doing that whatsoever. He's as creative as it gets. So this morning, we felt it. 49ers team total over 23.5. Still feel it right now. Also, could somebody tell me who's on the cover of Madden this year?
CMC.
That curse hit quick.
Taylor Swift.
I told you, I just got my box 3 days ago, and they sent me 10 PlayStation and 10 Xbox copies of the game.
Nice.
Because, as you guys know, I'm one of the voices in Madden, said 25.
You can get 20 simulation games going at a time. Let's go.
They did give me some codes, too. Everybody around here has already taken my codes. Like, Coach, where is it? I'm like, it's only been like 10 years I've been in the damn game. Let's go. This golden voice somewhere at halftime that nobody watches.
They didn't send you one for Sega Saturn? All of us Sega Saturn players?
Yeah, or the Wii.
No Atari?
Yeah. Raphael, you're also on the 49ers tonight. Why?
Yeah, it's the 3.5. Like, they still have offense. I know CMC's not there, but they're still going to be able to score points. I just think the 49ers win this one. They've won 14 out of their last 20 Monday Night Football games. So I think this is going to be the factor that they win. They can get that a horrible loss out of their mouths. And don't forget, the Jets have lost 9 out of their last 12 Monday Night Football games.
Amazing. Charles, you like a 6-point teaser, and you like to have it with a half a point because in a teaser, a push is no good. You got to win both. You're up.
Yeah, the Jets plus 9.5. But yeah, I'm wanting my 49 back now. The number moved back up. But yeah, but we're going to roll with the 47.5 as well. I think this is going to be a tight game. These primetime games are staying lower scoring as well. And I think the Jets can keep it tight as well. So yeah, I'm still comfortable with the plus 9.5 and the under 47.5.
All right, DG, you still like the under. It's been moving around from 43, 42, 43, 40. What do you like?
As long as it's 42 and higher, I like playing the under there just because that 42 is the key number. But listen, Charles said it perfectly. These primetime games, they always go under. So you might not trust me, but you can trust Charles. Charles said he likes the under. So I'm going to go with Charles as well, going the under of 43.5.
Wow, look at that cocky smile over there from Big Chuck. Oh, my goodness. All right.
Someone scores 50.
All right, so I've already had to crush Seabass's dreams, and a lot of my crew members have felt the near joy of getting into the club, and whether it's a penalty or a dropped pass or getting stopped at the 2, it's a very, very fickle game. But this is where we pick who will score the first touchdown of the game. And we want you to participate in the chat. But it can't be like if CMC was playing tonight plus 300. No. You got to make it a little bit harder on yourself. It's got to be plus 1,000 or higher in order to participate. You've got to earn it. Now, so far, early in the season, nobody is in the club. But it can happen furious and often. And those two words didn't even go together. AB. Where are you going tonight?
The fast and the often. That's where we're going. Jawan Jennings Jr. plus 1,600. Now, look, here's the problem. I should have 2 gyms already this weekend. I was literally sitting here going, we're going to cash 1. Oh, it gets taken away. Cash 2. Oh, it gets taken away. But for all the rooks out here, that's how this game goes. She is a cruel mistress, and that's how the game is so much fun. I'm taking my man, Jawan Jennings, 1,600. Let's go.
If you get in with your actual guy from Tennessee who you know, and you could have gotten a jersey from him if I needed to when I lost the bet, that would just be apropos. It truly would.
Coach, here's the worst part. You're right. The worst part is that we had it. Like, if the 49ers won, he was going to get MVP and literally give us an MVP Super Bowl jersey to give out. But after they lost, I was like, yeah, I can't text my dog.
Oh, and Big Teasy couldn't text him either. Couldn't text him. Well, DG did, but that's okay. All right, so Jawan Jennings is our first go. So where do we go? Let's go over to DG, who had to send me a screenshot with this one earlier today. Now, I don't even know where it is, but just to be fair, when they send it in, that's the number we go with. You're up, DG.
Yeah, Brandon Ayuk got paid this offseason, and guess what? I want to get paid too. Bring me my money. We're going to go Brandon Ayuk at a plus 1,000. The reason is because, listen, San Francisco, they scored 13 of their 17 games. They scored first And guess what? They had 6 running backs, 6 wide receivers, and 1 tight end for those 13. Yeah, that means no CMC. Throw it up to Brandon Ayuk, and we're going to cash. We're going to cash, get the club.
Yeah, I know what I'm staring at. Gimmick infringement. Somebody's been watching my IG page. You can't be a heel coach. You can't be him. Nobody can. There's only one. So take those damn sunglasses off. Thank you. Gimmick infringement. All right, DG. I kind of like that, actually, though. Charles, let me come over to you. Alan Lazard. What a large number for him. Explain yourself.
That's crazy. He's the reason that Aaron Rodgers is the reason that he come to the Jets. He has 19 career touchdowns in 57 games with Aaron Rodgers as quarterback, and we're getting plus 3,500 for that big body in the red zone as well, near the near goal line as well. So yeah, plus 3,500. I mean, you have to take a little slice of that one.
Okay, I hear you. Producer man, who's not about to be left out, and I know what Seabass is going to say. Well, producer man isn't technically on the show. He's working on the damn show, though. He's always behind the scenes. He's going to go with Mike Williams plus 1,800. There was a time when Mike Williams was the man. Maybe he channels that tonight. Raphael, Jordan Mason looks pretty tasty right about now.
35-1 when I put this in. Now he's 7-1. But why did I pick Jordan Mason? My first pet's name, Jordan. My favorite player, Michael Jordan. My wife's maiden name, Mason. Of course I had to take Jordan Mason at 35-1. I'll still take him at 7-1. But to be fair, I'm going to take the defensive and special teams touchdown because I don't want the 7-1. I don't want to go in the club cheating. I don't want to go in the club backdoor or getting sneaked in. I want to be in the club good. I'm doing defense instead.
Did you just call an audible on the gym pick?
Well, I don't want to hit it with a 7-1 shot. I want to hit it like everyone else. I'm going to take the defense at 18-1 special teams. I'm going in proper.
Hey, don't get hot. Don't get hot. I know this. I know that Brock Purdy tonight, AB, you talk about watch for his rushing number. Well, you're damn right. How about a 2nd and 7 from the 11? And Brock Purdy's looking. Debo's not open. Kittle's not. Where's CMC? Oh, he's over there on the bench. I'm going to use my legs, and it's going to spread wide like the Red Sea. And he's just going to run right through it, plus 3,500. And I'm going to be insufferable if that happens. I'm just warning you all right freaking now. Insufferable. By the way, Texas Joel says he's using all of our language now whenever he talks. You know you watch a lot of the same show when you're using the same language, right? AB, I think he's saying he's walking down the hallway at work going, nobody.
Who's got it better than us?
Nobody. All right, we're just about out of time. And understand this, there's only one thing left to do, and I believe you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all these tickets straight to the pay window. I got the best crew in the game. Enjoy the game tonight. We'll see you live tomorrow morning right here on Stadium. Take care.